What's going on, guys? Your boy LQ, Mr. Real Deal Fantasy HQ, and welcome to the RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. And today we're going to be talking about this Rams backfield, and hopefully I can break it down for you of who to put in the right position, who to pick up, who to start this week, and maybe the weeks beyond. So I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get right into the episode. So you're probably hearing that you're going to have to pick up and start rookie running back, 6th-round pick, Zach Evans of the backfield. It is said for him to be in the mix this weekend to try to get him some touches, to get him involved in this backfield. But I just see too many red flags for me to go pick up Zach Evans and put him in starting lineups. And I do understand there's 6 teams on bye, tons of running back injuries this week. So I understand if you're in a position where you're at, where you have to start Zach Evans, I understand that you're rolling the dice, but there might be another option here to pick up one of these running backs that they signed. Now, the Rams signed every running back possible in street clothes and put them on their roster. You got Myles Gaskin that just got signed. You also have Royce Freeman getting added from the practice squad, activated to the roster. And also you have a returning familiar face, Darrell Henderson, in the mix of this backfield, where I think Darrell Henderson will be the key player here that you want to pick up, but I'll get to him in a moment. Now, Zach Evans, yes, he's a great option to pick up at the last minute when you're dealing with injuries if you had Kyren Williams, but I really feel as though we need to analyze and look at what Zach Evans is actually going to be able to do, because man, only 6 offensive snaps so far this season. All of them came back last week. He's a real special teams guy. I can see him being in the mix this week, but we got to look beyond this week as well, because Kyren Williams probably won't come back until after the bye, and that's like week 10 or week 11. So you need to get yourself prepared in the right basically direction that you want to have the right running back on your roster to put into starting lineups. Now, to kind of get these guys out of the way, I wouldn't pick up Royce Freeman. I wouldn't pick up Myles Gaskin. I know these guys are going to be in the mix. They've always been running backs in their career to be in the mixture of the running back mix. So I don't see these guys as workhorses. I don't see these guys getting much involved in the passing game. Where I want to lead you guys is to Darrell Henderson, and why I think he will be the running back that you need to pick up and could possibly start this weekend. I know he got added to the practice squad, but I think the Rams will probably activate him to the active roster to be ready to suit up for Sunday, because A, he knows the system already. He was just there last season. He played 10 games for them last season, so it's not like he's been away from the system where he needs to get back into rhythm to where he's probably forgot blocking assignments and et cetera, et cetera. When we look at Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers' situation last year, going into the season, Sean McVay looked at both of these running backs as starting running backs into this league. And if we look at last year's stats, Darrell Henderson was the more efficient back. He was beating Cam Akers in yards per touch, yards per carry, and explosive plays from rushes of 10+ yards. He was just the more explosive, reliable back of that Rams backfield. Even dating back, if we look all the way back to 2019, 2020, when we look at his stats going dated back, he's beating all the running backs that have been on the Rams roster from 2019 to now when it comes to yards per carry, yards per touch, rushes of 10+ yards that I explained before. He's the leader there. Rushing yards, touchdowns, scrimmage touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. He's the guy that you're looking at that is the top of the leaderboard when it comes to all categories when it comes to the Rams running backs. Obviously, Kyren Williams this year taking on the head-on. Darrell Henderson was not playing. He was in street clothes, training, getting prepared, knowing that his name will be called eventually by one of these teams. So I don't want to go on rambling about this. The key thing here is to pick up Darrell Henderson, hold him. And if you are in a situation where you have to start a running back this week, obviously you're going to start Zach Evans, or you might start Darrell Henderson. But this is a situation this week against this Pittsburgh's defense where I'll probably just wait and see, pivot to other options if I have them. If there's options like a Zach Charbonnet, if there's options like a Jalen Warren, I probably go there rather than a Zach Evans, who's been known to be on special teams. We haven't seen much from him. Last week, he had 10 yards for 2.5 yards per carry. There's a lot of red flags here. Nothing tells me that Zach Evans is going to be this big fantasy breakout this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, who are middle of the pack when it comes to rushing yards allowed. But I really feel as though you need to be smart, need to prepare, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Darrell Henderson obviously will be the better back here to stash on your roster and probably try to fade starting any Rams running back this week. I really feel as though all these running backs are going to end the mix, so nobody's probably going to be able to get in the rhythm, Or you might see a lot of Tutu Atwell, or you might see the Rams just throw the ball 40 times and only run the ball 13 times this week. That is definitely on the table as a possibility. So what my advice is to probably fade this entire backfield, but do pick up Darrell Henderson just to stash him to see how he does Sunday if he is activated. But I'm telling you now, once this week is over, Darrell Henderson is probably going to be the lead back of this offense because, like I said before, he knows the system. He's been there before. He was released last year, but you got to look at why he was released. There was a lot of drama between the running back rotation and who was doing what. So I'm pretty sure we can assume that Darrell Henderson asked to be released just based on just wanting to seek other opportunity because he's an explosive back. He's a guy that can get involved in the passing game as well. He has a history of being a guy that can be relied on in the passing game where you could target him and he gets a lot of yards out there to catch. He has explosiveness to him. He's able to break tackles. He's able to plow people over. I mean, if you look at that Buffalo game last year he was able to do these things in open space. He's quick. He's a guy that gets the yards, gets the ugly 4 yards. He's the guy you need to be targeting. So I probably rambled on a little bit too long, but hey, this is the end of the episode. I got my point across, but please make sure you guys like and subscribe. Leave a comment below on what you guys think. Who do you think should be the back that you should be targeting and who's on your roster? And maybe I can help you out to iron out this backfield so we can get on the same page. So I'll see you guys next week for another great episode of RotoBaller Fantasy Sports YouTube channel. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe. And you guys can follow me on all social media platforms at Real Deal Fantasy. Until next time.